Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited about today's presentation as we have a multitude of ways that we can help you find the material you're looking for. We are recording today's presentation, and we'll be emailing you the link for that. So please feel free to share this with any of your colleagues. And also, I noticed that we got a few more people that have just joined in the last few seconds here. I wanted to let you know that you have the ability to adjust your view for a full screen presentation. That option is located on the blue circle on the control panel there, located just on the right. It's got the little square on it. And most of you are using your computer speakers to join us today, and that's great. Should work out just fine. However, if you do have any trouble, please go ahead and call into that number on the control panel on your right. You can dial 877-309-2071, and you can also dial into 877-739-5906. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. My name is Mike Riedemann. I'm being joined today by Lisa Smith and Chris Frankowski. We're a part of the inside sales team here at Midwest Tape. Lisa and I will be presenting, and Chris will be handling the Q&A portion of the webinar. And even with a full hour, we know we're not going to be able to cover every single detail of what we're able to bring to the table for collection development. So we really encourage you to use the questions area on the control panel. Chris is going to be able to answer directly to you, and if need be, he can initiate a chat session. And further, if time permits, we'll be addressing some of your questions at the end of the webinar. And if we don't get to your question, we'll make sure that we follow up with you after the webinar. So whether it's as simple as filling in some holes in your collections or keeping up with current hot new releases, maybe adding a new format like Blu-ray, or even a project as large as opening a new branch, today we're going to review the ways we can help ease the workload by being a partner for your media needs. And I'm going to start the presentation on the Midwest Tape website and review those collection development tools that we have on there. And the first area that I want to point out is the hot new release carousel, and I'm sure everyone is very familiar with this area right here on your screen, but we have had new placement for it. We've adjusted the view that you have here where we have the video all on the top, and then you've got the audio portion of our products on the bottom. And so this is a cool little feature to glance at the two different formats, and then you can click on two different subcategories here. So if you select and collect merely nonfiction, you can check two different formats out at the same time here. All of the titles that are shown here, you can hover over, you can get a short synopsis, you can scroll through to get a whole new view of what you're looking at. Clicking on any of these titles, of course, will take you to that product detail page where you can add it to a cart. But I think everyone knows all those, but just in case. The Hot New Releases feature. This is under Quicklinks here on the right. If we click on here, this just gives you the ability to look at all of those titles that you saw in the carousel in one place. So the advantage of this here is that you can quickly go through all of these titles that are listed, enter your quantities, and quickly add the selections to either an existing cart or a brand new cart. But we're in browsing new titles here. If you notice, we're in browse mode up here at the top. And if we select a different format here, say CD, we'll be taken to a whole new set of options, and then it's this panel down below on the left here under your browse controls that you can go to all those different subcategories that you saw on the carousel. I'm going to go down one on the browse control panel here and go into collections. And one thing that I want to point out is this is a very strong collection development tool in that you're able to go through just hundreds of different collections that we've put together for any of the formats that you're looking at here. And already this year we've been adding a ton of new collections. We've got the 2000 New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival lineup. We've got the South by Southwest Festival lineup here for music. And there's even some great video tie-ins. We saw the release recently of, or coming up, the James Bond new movie Skyfall. So we've got a James Bond music collection. If I click on that here, we can be taken to that collection. Also in here we've got Lord of the Rings. There's even an Abraham Lincoln music collection in there, literally hundreds for each one of these different formats that you can search by. And then if we go one selection down into Browse by Category, you'll notice that there are no titles coming up right now. Well, that's because in this panel over to the left here, you have to select a very specific category, or collection, I mean. So I'm going to go up to DVD. I'm going to change the category here, and I'm going to go into Fiction. And then again, you notice when I clicked on Fiction, nothing comes up. Well, that's because we have literally dozens of different categories in fiction that you can choose. So I'm going to go down to BBC. And again, doesn't bring anything up. That's because we've subdivided BBC into multiple categories. So if I want to zone in on strictly the comedy selections from BBC, I do have that option. But back up in fiction, I mean, there are just dozens upon dozens of categories with subcategories in there. So if you want to explore anything from musicals to the very best in film noir, you have that ability to do that. If I go into children's here, I could even go into animated and then get very specific into the animated titles that we carry. It's bringing up an initial selection of anime, but say I want to go into Cartoon Network. We can browse our category of Cartoon Network titles. And again, this is in browse mode, so you can enter all your quantities onto one page. And always want to look at the number of pages that you're looking at. You can skip around to different pages, but for Cartoon Network, we have a full 6 pages of titles for you to choose from. And then I'm going to skip this calendar option here on the left and go down into Browse by Series. And I'm in DVD right now, so you're going to see a great selection of TV series, network show series, nonfiction series, like History Channel and whatnot. Audiobook is a popular option for series, from everything from Alex Cross to Diary of a Wimpy Kid to the Stephen White. If I scroll down, this is all in alphabetical order here. If I go to Dr. Gregory Allen, Dr. Alan Gregory. If I click on that, you're going to see all of the audiobooks in that series that we have available. And so this is a great way to also find those replacement discs for certain audiobooks or DVDs or whatever to keep your collection in circulation. If I move over to the music CD format here, again, off to the left, we have everything. We've got a lot of classical selections here. We've got the popular Bluegrass Pick-and-On series. We have a whole bunch of children's selections here. For instance, we've got children's classical music CDs located right here. We've got all the adult and children's Putumayo CDs. And don't forget that you can always choose your release date. So if you only want to see new releases or only releases in the last year, you have that ability to do that as well. We will bring up unavailable products in the search results. So if there was a title that was once available but now we cannot get it, we're still going to show you that. But if you only want to see what's available, you could check off here. If we go up to language, off to the left here. For music CDs, we've got everything from contemporary Vietnamese to French music. It's just chock full of options for you. Audiobooks are mainly going to be mostly learning how to speak, that nationality. But this can be extremely helpful in the DVD and Blu-ray category. If I go to Blu-ray up here and say I come down to French, you're going to be presented with all the French Blu-ray titles that we have in our collection. So that can be very helpful. And I pointed out all these collections and categories under Browse. I'm going to go to our home page here. And that's where all of these start before they're being archived under our Browse category. On the left here, we've got collections by Rihanna right now. The Oscar nominees were just announced, so we have a panel specifically for those. And then if we scroll down, the very bottom panel, you'll notice here that you have the ability to browse through any number of different collections that we've put together. There's been over 20 new different plans in 2013 already, and we're changing these up, almost every single day. So just wanted to point that out, that this can be a great collection development tool as well for you. And at this point, I'm going to go to a quick poll. I had mentioned Blu-ray here. And so I wanted to launch a poll here and find out a little information, and I thought it would be fun for you to see as well for all the other attendees. But, we're continuing to see an increase in Blu-ray sales here. According to Home Media Magazine, Blu-ray sales are up 3.2% from this time last year. And further, they're saying that rentals are really starting to surge. It seems that home entertainment is returning to its rental roots. Physical sell-through for video is expected to drop to 49% for this year from 51% in 2012. For subscription VOD, like a Netflix, that's expected to surge 30% this year. And transactional VOD, like what you would find on the cable box, that's expected to grow to 13%. And kiosk rentals are expected to grow 10%. So I'll give you just a few more seconds, and then I'm going to show this poll. And the majority, looks like, are definitely considering the format. Some of you do not, and at least amount have a Blu-ray collection. Just something to keep an eye out in the future. If you'd like more detailed Blu-ray stats and information, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We'd be happy to get that out to you. I'm going to go back to the website now. And the next collection development tool I'd like to point out is our calendar feature. And that is located in 3 different areas. It was located underneath that Browse tab. It's also located here in the top navigation tab here. It's also located right here under Quicklinks. So if I go to Blu-ray here, first off, you know that all your formats are located on the left-hand side. So if we want to quickly go into audiobook, you have that ability. And then all those subcategories you saw underneath the carousel, you're also able to go to here. This looks a little bit different from how it's previously looked, as we've defaulted to this art view. Some of you who've worked in it extensively probably remember this being the default page. But this is a great tool in that you can quickly hover over any of the titles that are listed here. And this is every new release available from Midwest Tape by the release date. So we can hover over it to get some specific information, click on the title to be able to enter the quantity here at the bottom and add it to a cart. It's a strong strong collection development tools that you can use as a primary tool for adding titles to a cart, or you can use it as a secondary by using the built-in duplication checks. You see a lot of these cart symbols here next to each title letting us know that they're in different carts from other people who have logins. If we saw the exclamation point, that would mean that it's already been previously ordered. And that's going to work as you scroll through the different months. I'm going to go back to the home page, and the next section under Quicklinks I'd like to point out are the children's titles. And the results here are going to be shown a little bit differently. You're going to see the top-ranked children's titles being shown first. So these are the sales rankings in this column as far as, you know, what the most customers have bought the most of here. But you can sort these columns any way you want. So if you wanted to go alphabetically, you could click on the title column right here. If you wanted to sort it by the release date, you could do that as well. And as you scroll down here, you'll notice that you see all these blue links in the Smart Browse results here, so that you can always go to a specific studio, or if you want to go to the collection that we have for any of the individuals that star in that title, you have that ability as well. And again, you have duplication checks, so if it's in another cart or if it's been previously ordered, that will show up. You have your links to your OPAC, so if you don't have a history of ordering it from us, but you want to see if another library in the consortium may already have this title, you could click on this link here. I'm sorry, that's your marked vendor record. If you go over to the UPC area right here, or OCLC, or at the title level, you'll have that ability. If you don't see these magnifying glasses here, let us know. We can install a link to your catalog there. So while we're in Smart Browse mode, which we know we're in because that's highlighted at the top, I'm going to show you a few different tricks that we have in this area. Smart Browse is great for bringing up any type of return for video or audiobooks or music. For video, you may want to plug in an actor, a director, any type of genre, studios, certain subjects or keywords. And for audiobooks, the same, except you could go into publishers or maybe some specific readers. And, you know, for music, you could even search by a very specific style. So if I plug in Latin here, I search for that. If you go down to the category section, underneath where our general entry for Latin music CDs, where we've got over 6,400, and then you could narrow down by either the top 100 or 1,000 best-selling or the most recent 100 or 1,000 titles, you can expand this subcategory here. And you can go into a multitude of different options to drill down into a very specific area of Latin. Say you're looking to build or fill a jazz collection for April when it's Jazz Appreciation Month. If you plug in jazz, you're going to see that ability as well, all these different subcategories. But there's also a number of different music labels that have jazz in their name. So this is another way to explore and discover what is all in our catalog. And if I scroll down a little bit further and I open up collections, this is yet another way to explore all that we have to offer. And you could even look at groups that have jazz in their name here. We had one specific question in the registration about classical music. If I plug in classical, this is one way to take a look at everything that we have in this area. So say we're looking at choral music, and we want to click on the most, or the top 100 best-selling. Once we get our results up here, We can sort this any way that we want just by clicking on these column headers here. So if you want to go alphabetical by the artist, or you want to break it down into the specific genres from religious or classical, or you want to go into the release date and see what's being released coming up by year, or the sales ranking. What are the most popular classical choral titles from Midwest Tape? You have that ability as well. I'll show just a few more examples. And the next one is just a very general subject, like travel. When you open up your subcategories, we'll break it down by very specific countries. And again, from there, you can go into either the totality of the collection, or either the top 100 best-selling or the most recent 100. But you can also go into publishers down here and say you wanted to look at all Travel Channel DVDs that have been released. You can click on that there. For you young adult librarians, if you plug in young adult, you're going to be able to see in subcategories everything from audiobooks to DVDs here, and breaking it down into all the different subcategories, whether it's classics or science fiction or horror DVDs, sci-fi. You have that ability to do that. A new collection that we just put together on the home page was the Fabulous Films for Young Adults from ALA, and those are up here as well. So you just need to remember to expand and contract all the different areas we have on your search summary. With that, I'm going to move back to the home page. And the next area under Quicklinks is our Cat to Cart feature. Our catalogs seem to be really popular. A lot of people really appreciate them. If you're looking for any of the titles that are in our catalogs, this is a really easy way to do that. If you're not receiving our catalogs, feel free to give us a call. We'd be happy to get you on our mailing list. But usually it takes a good 15 seconds or so to bring up the results for the catalog feature, since we have so many titles in there. But once the results are shown, they're all in alphabetical order. So as you're flipping through the catalog, you see a title. It's very easy to then scroll down and go exactly to that title that you're looking for. And of course, since we're in Smart Browse, you can sort any of these columns as you wish. And as you're scrolling through, on the bottom half of the page are all the details. And one thing I'll point out is that you always have the ability to view scanned images of each title that's in there. If I go to an older title here, you'll notice once I click on there, if you want the very specific information on the back of the artwork, you have the ability to do that by clicking on the zoom title, or zoom option here. Going back to the home page, foreign titles, we break this down by nationality. So if you're looking for a very specific nationality for DVDs, or say you want to look at Bollywood, you could scroll down to Hindi here. You see that we have over 1,600 titles, and you could go to either the top 100 selling or the most recent 100 titles. And foreign works really well in Smart Browse as well. And the last area I will point out on the home page is if you ever cannot find what you're looking for in the catalog, you have this title request feature right here. I need to share that here. This is the title request form. So it's going to automatically bring up your information in this area here. Just need to select the format and provide us with as much information as you can. And here at the bottom of the page is where you can submit the request. That's going to go to the individual in our procurement department of marketing. And they're going to research that title and get back to you and let you know if we're able to get that. or if we're just not available, or it's just not available at this time. So usually if it is available, we will have it on the website within 24 hours for you to order. And with that, I'm going to head back to our PowerPoint here. So there's really two main areas outside of the collection development tools that are built into the website that we can help you and lend assistance that we're going to be discussing today. And the first is a collection development project of some sort. Maybe it's an opening day collection where you're opening a new branch with no existing collection, or you're moving a collection to a new building and refreshing it for the reopening. Then you may have an individual special project. Maybe you have to spend some grant money for a very specific area, or you have end-of-year dollars that you need to spend very quickly. You may be investing in a new format, such as Blu-ray. You may be replacing an older format, like VHS, or you're filling holes in a current collection. And yes, by the way, we still hear that there are VHS and cassette tapes and collections out there. But then there is the ongoing collection development side of things. And we can assist with that with the goal of keeping your collection current, to make sure that you're getting the highest traffic and circulation for your library. But the first area I'd like to address here is the specific collection development project. So once you've got a budget for your collection development project, we're going to want to know as much information as possible. What are you trying to achieve? What is your patron audience here? So for instance, for like video, we might ask how much of that budget should be put towards feature films versus television or documentaries. Is physical fitness a priority for your patrons? Should we be including those videos in your collection list? For music, we might ask what specific music genres are circulating well in the area you serve? How diverse is your population? How about explicit lyrics or unrated material? Is that something that the library decides, or is that something that you allow the parents to make that decision? If audiobooks are the consideration, are there a lot of commuters in the area? Is there a demand for nonfiction audiobooks? Are there any popular series or genres that need to be addressed in depth? For children's titles, we might ask what trends in DVD series are lining up well with your community. The more details we know, the better we can achieve success. So Midwest Tape works with you and your staff to coordinate efforts and ease the load by providing full collections of essential titles for either a new library opening or a particular project. And these selection lists are tailored to your exact specifications. You're also going to realize easy order placement with us, whether it's online on the website or through EDI. You're going to receive on-time status reporting based on your timeline needs. Product is going to be boxed and shipped for easy shelving according to your project's needs. And there's never any extra fee for these services. You're only paying for product and any of the processing or cataloging services you elect to choose. So basically, you're receiving complete project management for your AV material from a one-stop shop with the ability to receive shelf-ready product. And how do we tie this all together? Well, our cataloging, processing, collection development, and opening day collection departments rely on one another for important information, and they rely on similar data to create the end result for your library. We call it workflow solutions, and it's a team approach that originated to better serve our libraries. Your team is going to consist of specialists in each of these 4 departments, and they're going to set up your desired services. So by combining these individuals into one workflow solutions team, you're going to benefit by reduced numbers of phone calls and meetings, since the team members are sharing the information, and you're going to realize a smoother setup overall as a direct result of this one cohesive effort. And this team approach, this also enables individuals at Midwest Tape to ensure understanding of everybody else's positions, and it really facilitates a level of ongoing cross-training and cooperation to solve the problems and provide solutions for your library. So it's definitely mutually beneficial. And one more thing that I'd like to add is that this process can fully incorporate item record creation, the EDI ordering, and the invoicing, as well as support for importing order records from our ILS coordination team. When it comes to timing, just want to give a brief synopsis of a general timeline we work on for projects. In month 1, in this stage, we're looking to have a library information or, if applicable, an opening day collection info sheet collected from you. We're going to discuss that internally with the team members assigned to work on your project, and then very quickly we reach out to you to schedule a conference call. We're going to want to discuss in depth your collection, processing, any cataloging or any special account needs. If processing and cataloging is involved, those quotes and samples are going to be sent to you in this time frame, and we also look to build carts and send them to your login for a review. As we move ahead into month 2, when processing and cataloging is involved, we're going to look to have all the quotes signed and approved to move forward with the next step, which is to present you with written specifications. And once those specifications are set, we can move ahead with having the programming of those specs tied into the ordering process. Now, we know that each library is different in their needs and they're different in their response time. So it's in these first couple months that we make sure that we're communicating what we require on our end time-wise in order to meet your expectations for delivery. As we get into month 3, we're going to look to have programmed into the system all those specs that you've approved so that we can move ahead with your test order. And this is a free order containing all the variables for you and your staff to visually inspect for accuracy in hand. Provided approval is granted there, Midwest Tape will then begin processing your product. And then from there on out through months 4 through 6 and beyond, we're in constant communication with your library through project completion. There's always inevitable changes in your schedule. We're working with you to ensure you have those status updates, that we're coordinating flow of products, or whether we're holding it here at our warehouse for one shipment, and then following up with you on the material you receive. So now that we've discussed some of the ways we can provide support on a specific collection development project, what about keeping your overall collection current? Midwest Tape provides the most complete and in-depth collection development tools on the market, and we do this to help you with being able to achieve this with as little effort, but still leaving you in complete control. And I think I've been talking long enough now, so I'm going to hand this part of the presentation off to my esteemed colleague, Ms. Lisa Smith.
Well, thank you, Mike. I'm going to go ahead and go over the second half of this presentation and talk about customized selection lists. Go ahead and get it to the next slide here. Mike, do I have control of that next slide there? Thank you very much. All right, now you can see it. Okay. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Thanks again for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and discuss a little bit how our customized selection lists work. We do offer these to help save time and effort and to ensure notification of newly announced titles. So with these lists, there's absolutely no minimums to order. There's no contracts and no obligation to take part in them. They're merely a collection development tool, and since this is a collection development webinar, I'd be remiss not to mention these. They are designed to save you time and fit right into your workflow. There's absolutely, again, no obligation to purchase the titles from the lists either. So feel free to go a little crazy with trying out and experimenting with as many as you'd like. You can do one, you can do a couple, you can just mix and match however you'd like. Also, if you're expecting to see about 10, 12 titles in a cart on a regular basis, but once in a while you only receive 5, remember we don't backfill. So we've really focused on giving quality and not quantity. So if there's no titles releasing at that time for that specific category, then we're not going to enter them into the cart. So all the brochures you see up here, they're available for download from our website, or of course we can go ahead and send them to you by email or in snail mail as well. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about how these plans work. First of all, product is loaded into an active open cart for you to review. The lists are created by our marketing team, and they're going to include titles that you choose to see from the plan lists. So use them in conjunction with other carts that you've already created as a way to keep track of what you've already have in existing carts, or perhaps of what you need to order. And you will receive email notifications when the new carts are uploaded to your account and are ready for your review. Now, orders await your action, and they're not automatically submitted for purchase. We're not going to submit these for you unless you ask, okay? So again, you're not going to start receiving stuff on a regular basis that you may not want. You are in complete control. It's as if you created the cart yourself, but we took that step for you and put it right there at your fingertips. Now, you can assign different plans of formats, series, or genres to different selectors at your library based on what they're responsible for ordering. So if you simply order nonfiction, say DVDs or audiobooks, then by all means sign up for our nonfiction plans. That way you're just receiving what you want to see there and get the best variety. Okay? Now, again, like I mentioned, feel free to try out as many carts as you'd like because they automatically dedupe from each other. So if you have carts that you've already created, don't worry. The Midwest Tape website has our standard duplication symbols already that you may be used to seeing to notify you of what's already in a cart. So those little shopping cart symbols as well as the exclamation point symbols, you're going to see them. So if you have a cart that you're currently working on and some of these selection list carts come through, you'll see the duplicate symbols there. Now, you can add and remove titles from the carts as you see fit, and I find it works best to use Smart Cart mode to get the best view of what's in your cart without having to leave your shopping cart itself. You can actually review the title information, the details from the Smart Cart. You can then do perhaps say a mass delete or a delete one by one, or you can simply choose to keep all titles. It's up to you. You can also set your fund codes and branch distributions to your carts. Just let us know at the time of setup so that there's no disruption to your workflow. It works very well that way. Okay, Midwest Tape's customized selection lists work very well with your ILS integration. As for those of you that are utilizing our vendor records or order electronically, the 9XX or EDI ordering, they work beautifully with that as well. Okay. I need to mention that there is an exception in the award winners where you may receive a duplicate title notification, and because I mentioned the duplicates up at the top, the carts are automatically deduped. That does not include the award winners lists. Okay. And we'll go to the next slide here. There we go. Let's talk about some of the DVD plan lists that we have here. I just want to go over and point out some of the good ones we have. You want to use these plans to stay current with your new DVD releases, and this will keep your collection fresh, okay, and relevant at your library. Feature film. Now that's a good foundation to start with, and then from there you can add on perhaps different genres that are popular with your patrons, and that'll give you a good variety of titles in front of you, and also it kind of helps keep up with those hard to keep up with pockets of your collection. All right, so some of the new genres that we added for 2013 are a video librarian and library journal recommended DVDs. Okay, we have that little new indicator there, as well as the children's parents' choice plan. Okay, you'll be able to select your widescreen or full screen preference, as well as number of copies. Feature film, those come every 2 weeks. Genres come once a month. Okay. I also would like to point out some of the different series we have for DVDs. We've got fiction, nonfiction, children's, And for many of you, the series plans will help keep you up to date with all those patrons, all their favorite series that they're demanding. It helps keep you informed of all the children, fiction, nonfiction that are coming out. And our new 2013 series have been updated to ensure you encumber funds for series that you have expected or planned releases for already. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and, I know we've got some new children's series, and we actually have those listed here, the Dino Dan, Dinosaur Train, Lego Power Rangers, My Little Pony, and Transformers. Those were the ones that were added. So definitely our goal is to provide titles as options to consider for your collection that fit into your normal selecting profile through these lists, and leaves you in complete control. Again, no obligation to purchase. Okay, I would like to tell you about an all series option. Being that there are so many great series on here, you can simply select to have all series as an option, and I do recommend that. That way you get the most variety of titles in front of your face, and you have it right there. We have a little announcement here. In case you hadn't heard, and hopefully you can see this, be sure to zoom in. There are some titles, Disney titles, that are going to be going into the vault soon. So I wanted to throw that out there. Lady and the Tramp 2, as well as Lion King DVD edition, Lion King 1.5, and Lion King 2. Those will be going into the vault, so be sure you get your orders in. Perhaps if you have a vault at your library, you want to stock up. So just want to let you know. Okay, we'll move on from there. Okay, let's talk about some CD music. All right, some of the plans we have here. All right, we've got our Hitmakers, and again, same as with the DVDs, I feel that the Hitmakers pre-pub are a great foundation to start with to get all the patron popular material in front of your face and right there at your fingertips. Chart toppers, post-pubs are also great to add in, so you can focus on what is placing at different levels on the chart. And right now, you can choose your range on that chart. For example, if you want anything from 1 to 25 or 1 to 50, 1 to 100, it's up to you. If you've got a very limited CD budget, or if it's decreasing for perhaps other areas, to allow for more perhaps audiobooks or something, and you just want to get those top charting titles, just get the top 25, or just get your Hitmakers. But at least it gives you options. You can see what's coming through. And also for chart toppers, you can select. I know country and Latin is extremely popular, so they have its own category. Current albums will be everything else as well. Okay. Oh. There. Now, some genres that we have for CD plans, everything from Americana to world. Now, just to, I'd like to note that Americana is actually our bluegrass, folk, and traditional country kind of tied into one. But, all the other ones are pretty standard. You got your blues. Children's is a genre plan, so for all you children's librarians out there, definitely include that. So you can see the children's music series, like, say, for instance, a Kids Bop. Okay, you want to get those Kids Bops in there. Let's see, world music would have series such as like the Putumayo. We've got New Age, jazz, all sorts. Okay. And I'd love to mention that we came up with, being that there was such demand for different areas, we came up with what's called our Smart Picks category. This was based on a lot of customers, saying, hey, how about a greatest hits plan or must-haves? So we created our Smart Picks. And holiday music, which would be, for instance, you would receive a Halloween suggestions in September for Halloween music. And you would receive Christmas suggestions in October as well as in November for holiday time. Must-haves, which would be, they would be pre-street date titles that don't necessarily qualify as hitmakers. So for like a Bruce Springsteen or somebody that may not be a hitmaker at this time right now, but has been in the past, that is coming up with, coming out with a new album. Soundtracks are self-explanatory. Trendsetters are under-the-radar artists. and a really new popular one that we've added last year was featured on NPR. These are titles that are selected from NPR features such as like First Listen, Song of the Day, Fresh Air, and All Songs Considered. Okay, and as well a wonderful and very complete foreign music category for music sampling around the globe. Okay. And again, remember that the award winners up here, that's not going to dedupe from the Hitmakers or the chart toppers. All right, the award winners are going to be a complete list. So be sure to use your duplication symbols, that little shopping cart and the exclamation point. All right, I have a poll that I want to administer. Actually, I have two polls. So if you can take a moment, let me make sure we do this right. Got to make sure I get this. Okay. This poll is, what are you seeing in physical audiobook demand this year? And I'm going to launch that. What are you seeing in physical audiobook demand this year? Simply, are you finding that the physical audiobook demand is increasing? Would you say it's decreasing, or is it remaining steady? And we ask this just for future planning of an interest in our physical audiobook market to get a good understanding of where our customers are going and what you're experiencing. All right, in just another couple seconds, I'm going to go ahead and close this poll here and give you about 5 more seconds because we've got about 15 minutes to go, and I've got some talking to do. All right, I'm going to close it now. Thank you for taking our poll. Let me share those results with you. Okay, overwhelming, well, we've got a good 67% saying demand is steady, and about 13% saying demand is decreasing. All right, now, I'm going to hide that. I have a follow-up. My follow-up is going to actually be, since now you answered that, what is, describe your physical audiobook budget for this year compared to last? And similarly, is your budget stable for physical audiobooks? Do you find it's increasing or decreasing to allow, for the physical audiobook market? And I know, and the reason we ask, there's the digital stuff coming out here. So, all right, in just a couple more seconds. And Mike, I see, just a heads up, I may need a help getting back to that PowerPoint, please, here in a few minutes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the polls here. And I'm going to share the results with you. All right. Very good. 61% saying the budget's stable. So that's very interesting, and I definitely thank you for taking the time to answer the polls for us. I'm going to go ahead and hide that now and get back to our presentation and talk about. Let me see. Actually, I think Mike's going to help me get back to my slide. And thank you for being patient with us. There we go. Okay. Audiobooks. Okay. Now, the workings of our customized selection list plans lends wonderfully to the audiobook format. And many of you have become accustomed to settling for what a publisher has shipped you before, with their plans that you've had with them perhaps. And upon opening the box, dealt with returning perhaps many unwanted items. So since you know how our customized selection list plans work, they also apply to our audiobook format. Get a good head start on your ordering. Get those popular materials that your patrons are demanding from you. Have them there. We have the ability to do it. So very good. Now let's talk about our fiction plans. We've got pre-pub and currently published plans. Because it's so vast due to the availability of over 225 different publisher titles, they are not publisher weighted, okay? You get the broadest range with no stipulations to follow or any kind of contracts or anything like that. Now, with that being said, you can choose to receive publisher-only plans if you favor certain publishers. So if you favor Random House or Books on Tape or Listening Library and Brilliance, and you just want to see some of those come through or all of those that we offer come through because we have their entire catalogs, by all means, we can do that for you. Again, we're going to have your best-selling authors, which is a good foundation to start with, and then I would try new and notable authors. we've got the wonderful genres for fiction. You can get those, you can ask for those in one cart. That way you're not receiving a lot of different carts, and you can just sort through to group them together. And our current published plans, it's going to be, again, your best-selling titles. Now, Critics Picks, I know a lot of you do a lot of work out there. You read your publishers weekly, your library journals, your audio files, and so forth to make your choices. We do that for you in our marketing department. Critics Picks will get all of those reviewed titles in this list here. New for 2013 is a movie tie-ins, and that would be audiobooks that have movies hitting theaters in the next 90 days. Well, I mean, so on. All right, let's go to the next slide. We also have nonfiction audiobook plans, pre-pub and currently published, and that's going to be your hot news, your hot new nonfiction, biographies, self-help. With the popularity of spirituality and religion readings and audiobooks, we added that for 2013. And again, we've got your Critics Picks and best-selling titles for current pub plans. All right, for you children's librarians out there, I would definitely recommend trying just the pre-pub and the published plans because it is pretty subjective what children's and YA is. That's why we keep it in one category. So it is New York Times bestselling children's authors. It's also going to be the young adult. I know some people have a preference saying, well, I don't want to see children's titles, but it is, sometimes it can be subjective on our website. Maybe something we considered a children's, you may have considered a young adult. So I would just recommend sorting the genre in your cart to be able to group out children's and young adult, but that way you can kind of take a peek at each format, okay, or each genre there. We don't want you to miss anything. We definitely don't want you to miss anything. The Critics Picks, again, it's going to be your published based on the currently published reviews out there. So, all right. Well, very good. Now, the Playaway plans work identically as the others. One of our more popular plans here, is our simultaneous release plan. So first we're going to give you your top fiction, your top nonfiction, or top children's. But again, simultaneous release is quite popular because it's going to be in simultaneous release with the book. Or if you just want to see every single Playaway that comes across, I would choose for the complete collection. So I just want to throw out there that we do honor the Playaway lifetime guarantee. Okay? So I just definitely want to point that out so if you ever have defective ones. Now that I went over all of our wonderful selection lists, we do have experts that you can contact, as well as our customer service, as well as your account executive, sales representative. Anybody here at Midwest Tape, we can answer your questions about these at any time. Erica Messenger is in charge of the audiobooks Playaways. We have Miss Karen Davey, who does CD music, and then Chris Shope, who handles DVDs. Now, if you're already participating in these and you receive the email notifications of the plans, you may recognize these names coming through. So these are the individuals that help establish the correct fitting plans for you and your library. Okay, so we definitely want to use their expertise to help boost your AV collection. All right, but basically it's up to you. You're in charge. You pick and choose what you want since there's no obligation. And that completes my part of the presentation, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Mike Riedemann. Mike, are you ready?
Sure am. Thank you very much, Lisa. Very good information. I think the best thing about the suggestion list is that, combined with having the best depth of collection, they are so flexible. If you would like to have more information, on our homepage, if you scroll down, and underneath our services panel, you can click on Customized Standing Orders, and you're going to be presented with the ability to learn more. You're going to learn about the pre-publication title notification and just all the different details and aspects of customized and obligation-free cards that are uploaded to your account. So that is located right here. And in addition to the customer service and customized selection expert support that you have, just want to let you know that all of us here in the sales staff, we're available to provide you with the tools you need to adequately manage these carts. We're going to take the time to meet with you online or in person and provide tips and instructions for reviewing these carts in detail and let you know about all the options you have for adding, deleting, moving any items out of the carts, as well as sharing these carts for collection collaboration with fellow staff members. And I wanted to let you know about our blog, News and Views. And while blogs may not be thought of as a primary collection development tool, you can stay current in the world of AV for libraries by checking out News and Views, where we're going to discuss industry trends, audiovisual news, and company updates. Every Monday, we're updating you on what's hot in the world of DVD and Blu-ray releases, as well as music CDs and the very best in fiction and nonfiction audiobooks. Today, we posted an entry on the 2012 Civil Awards for the children's and young adult books that were announced last week on Valentine's Day. And in the past year, we've seen a lot of great entries in the world of cinema, courtesy of local award-winning journalist Kirk Baird. Now, Kirk has been doing an excellent job with some really insightful, informative stuff. And on News and Views, we're going to provide you to links in our catalog that you're going to have the opportunities then to keep your collection fresh, relevant, and in high circulation. If you have an idea or a subject for our blog, we definitely invite you to let us know, and that's at newsandviews@midwesttapes.com. We're getting towards the end of time here, so I want to let you know about some upcoming webinars. We're going to have processing solutions in March. So if you've ever wondered what all Midwest Tape can provide in the world of processing and how we customize really high-quality solutions for your specific library, you can join us on the 20th. And then in April, we're going to be presenting info on how we've developed an audiobook program to meet the unique needs of public libraries. We're offering over 30,000 titles from more than 225 different publishers, and all Midwest Tape audiobooks that you order, they're going to arrive in our patented SoundSafe audiobook case with high-quality artwork that's fit for the case. That's going to take place on the 17th of April, and you can sign up for both of those webinars on our homepage under that webinars panel on the lower left-hand side. It was just under that services panel I showed you for the customized standing orders. Tomorrow, I'm going to be sending out an email with a link to this recording along with a quick survey. We'd love it if you were able to complete this, as it really helps us to know what you thought not only of the content, but how Lisa and I presented it to you. So at this time, we're going to take a look at some of the questions that we had come in for the last minute or two here. One question we had was, what is the filter criteria in Smart Browse? Aha, I did not go over that. So let's go back to the home page here. While we are in Smart Browse mode, let's say I want to plug in, let's see, I'll pick Robert Denier. I didn't even spell his name right. Nope. Let's do Mel Brooks, say. If I plug in Mel Brooks and we go to his collection here, up here at the top, you've got this Filter Criteria tab. If I click here, you're going to be able to filter by date, by any ratings here. For audiobooks, you could exclude abridged titles as well as any playaway titles by clicking on those. For video, you could exclude any Blu-ray titles from showing up there. And also down here at the bottom, you can include only widescreen or full screen. Definitely have the option to include both. There's that show unavailable products option here. So if you got a patron request and you can't find it, sometimes if you click on that, you're going to see some of those titles that were once available but are no longer available. And don't forget, you can always click on View Scanned Images here, and that will allow you to look at the specific information. I know it's 3 o'clock. I'm going to answer one more question before we go, and that was, do you have any reports for what I've ordered in a certain format or genre in a given time period? That we do as well, and that's going to be located up in Tools here. If you click on Tools, you can go to Search Orders, and then from here you can go to the Ship tab. And this is going to list all of the orders that have shipped in their entirety. And you could click here to download a file, and I'm going to click on that real quick here. This is going to be, now this just has one title for this order, but if you had a dozen titles, you could check those off individually or check them all off. But this next page here is how you would like it delivered to you. You can have it delivered as a CSV, comma sorted file, or an Excel file. You can have it up to your desktop, or you can have it emailed to you, or as any other people that you wish. And once you hit Next, now you're going to see all the different options that you can include in that report. So if you did want to get a report and break it then down by genre, you could click here. If you wanted to see all the specific publishers that you had included in that audiobook order, you have that ability as well. There's over 20 different options that you have here. Once you click Next, it would arrive to you either by email or into your browser. And with that, we're about out of time. I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. And if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to give us a call. And we look forward to seeing you online next month, hopefully for our processing webinar on March 20th. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.